Welcome to Trading Lounge and the commodities report, starting with the US 10-year yields here on the weekly chart. Very clear to see 1, 2, 3, 4 and going up for wave 5. As all trends have a beginning, middle and end, we can see the beginning is the building period, the middle is where it stretches out, and we haven't seen the end of this just yet, but we're not that far off it. And once that is completed, 5 waves up here, we'll see an ABC, and then we'll see another 5 up after that, because in Elliott terms, from the opposite direction of the trend coming down here, if we get 5 waves in the opposite direction, then we'll get a correction, then another 5 at minimum. So not a good scene over here for that in the longer term, in terms of going from weekly to daily, from pick it up from wave 4 here to wave 5 here. It looks a bit of a cacophony in here, but let me just sort this out a little bit, just so you got a general idea of where we are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2. Looking for 5 waves, so from wave 2 we're looking up for wave 3, 4 and 5 up here for this 5. So you can kind of see we've got a series of wave 4s here to play out here, but we're definitely sort of 2/3 into the wave 3 here. We have been looking at this on the 2-hour chart here. Let me just clean this up a little bit. So once again, picking it up from this wave 4 here all the way up for wave 1 here and 2 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd, 4th and 5th. So a little way to go in all of this. I'll need to double check that. I still haven't had time to do that, but I think we're on the right track anyway with that, but that will sort itself out. So yeah, so if you can kind of think of this as like a move, just a zigzag move to finish this off here, you know. Obviously this wave 5 here can take us up to probably 530 here, 5.3 here at least, you know, but that's where that is. So the bonds will be doing the opposite. They're pulling back into a wave 4 at the moment. So coming back over to the yields here, the bond trade, the ETF here. So basically we called the low in here, looking for a rally. We've got, you know, a few positive bars there to play this wave 4 here, and then down for wave 5. So yeah, this zigzag pattern to play out here. There's a couple of different ways to extend this particular structure down here, but we're in the sort of later stages of it at that point. And yeah, so that's that. Then we come over to the US dollar. There's a couple of ways to count this market. Yeah, so actually I would like to have a look at the volume on this too. I haven't seen it for a while, so just bear with me for a second or two here. I just want to do this on the hop. So I think I need to get the volume. I think I need to go to the FX one in here somewhere, one of these. So that's the futures, and this one here. Let me just bring this into the daily here. Let me just clean my mess up here. It's just the volume that I'm interested in, really, and not so much that. I really want to have a look at just the monthly volume here, because yeah, okay, so I mean, what I was concerned about a little bit really is that corrections in the market are always on lower volume. So seeing this move come down through here on lower volume, it doesn't look like sort of much lower volume here, but if I put it on, say, 3 months, that would be, you see it's come down here, that's that bar there, that's turning bar, but it's sort of come down on sort of lower volume. No, it's not too bad, I guess. I'll just go back to the monthly now, just to I mean, what else? Yeah, what I wanted to double check is that this move down here is telling me that this is bullish corrective here. That's what it's sort of telling me. So I wanted to see over here to see if I was going to get any increasing volume. For a trend to be a trend, it needs increasing volume. Otherwise, it's not going to go very far on diminishing volume like we've got here. And you can read it bar for bar here, like a musician would read a score of music, or you'd read the alphabet or anything else here. So what we're seeing here is we're seeing the market push up, but we're seeing the volume diminish in here for this. I just want to check on the futures market here. A little bit more positive on the futures market, so there's more paper coming into it on this side of it. Anyway, not really increasing volume, you know. So it's telling me that the trend is going to get pretty tired in this stage. So it's telling me that this trend is not that strong, really. That's what I mean. It's going up, yes. It just means that there's no sellers in there, more so. So there's two ways to look at this. We can look at it as 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 and 5 here for wave 1 or the A wave. We can get into that later. And then an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. And this is the 50-60%. And you'll take that in that case from this low of wave A here, of this 5th wave here. So that would bring us into the 50% here, where it's just sort of coming quite close to that now. So that's one way to count it. The other way to count it is to look at this as a triangle pattern here, and look at this as an A, B, C, D, and E over here, and then put this over here. If you do that, then this whole move up here will need to be viewed as an A wave here, and then a B wave over here, and then a C wave over here to get to here. So in this case, it would be a B and a C wave here, and then down at that point. So they're the two counts, and then we've still got some other issues that we need to discuss here as well. I'm just going to put Humpty Dumpty back together again over here. No, that's okay. So this little move up here is a little bit sort of tricky to count as well. There's two ways to count this up here. I could count it here as 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 to here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for third, fourth here, and then the 5th wave here, so the 3rd here, the 4th here, and then remove this here and put the 5th wave here. So it's quite possible to have a top in here, but I can't confirm that just yet. I've been playing around with having a wave 3 here and a wave 4 over here, and the wave 4 can still come back a little bit further, and we're looking at that because this makes a difference, because this will tell us what's going on with gold and silver as well. So it's going to take me a few sessions to work this out here. If I go to the intraday on the 2K here and consider it a wave 4 as we have been considering it here, so this is the 38.2% retracement level for wave 4. And here we can look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, or an A and a B and a C here, and then down at this point. But either way, either wave 1 or wave A and a B here, and then 1 and 2. And I can see we've got little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1 and 2 here, and then 1, 2. So I could put wave 5 low right in here right now, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But so I'll just see how this sort of plays out here a little bit further. See if we need to call it a wave 4 here, or we actually need to put this wave 5 top in play here. And between the US dollar and gold and silver, we'll be able to figure this out in a few sessions, okay? Because if we've got a top in here, we're going to have a low in for place for gold at this point. So with gold here, it's, you know how we got that dog leg in the US dollar that we just talked about. Well, that's shown up here as well. So we can look at this here. This is weekly gold here. So this is the bigger picture here. We've got wave 3 here with an A, B, C for wave 4 here, then up for 1. And we've been looking for wave 2 to come back into this area over here. There's different ways to count this. So we could count this here as the A wave and the B wave here. And then we could count this down as 1 and 2, and then 3, 4, 5, basically, something like that. We'll get into that in a moment. Or we put wave B over here in that same thing we've done with the US dollar. And then we could also look at this low being in place here right now. But if that was going to be the case, then we need to prove that this is going to be 5 waves up here. It's a little bit early to do that, but you could probably look around and have a look at stocks and those sort of things and work it out. But I'll just wait another couple of sessions to figure that out. So it's possible to have a low in here, and you look at this as a triangle, it's an A, B, C, D, E in here, which is fine for a B wave, you know. So just to have a closer look at that on the daily chart here. There's a couple of ways to look at it. So we can look at it as the A wave down here, then an A, B, and C for the B wave here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 here. And currently where it is at the moment is the 38.2% retracement level, roughly speaking. And then we'll look for another move to the downside. Now, this other move to the downside here would relate to the US dollar having another move to the upside. So it's either that, or we'll put wave 1 in here very shortly, up here, and then we could look at this here as the A wave here, the A, B, C, D, and E here. So basically a triangle pattern into this space here that works as well. And we can put wave B here on that one here, and then look for 5 waves down here and call that low in sitting in here, and then look at this as wave 1 and wave 2 here. So this little move here has got a little bit of a gap into it. We could probably sort of figure it out. In fact, I'm not even going to go in here on the intraday. I'm going to give it a couple of sessions, and then tomorrow and the next day we'll be talking about this more and more, and we'll see if we'll get a long trade set up for this. So we just got to be a little bit careful here, but just, you know, looking at all the possibilities and looking, you know, taking a balanced view of being bullish and bearish, and just allowing the market to come to us in terms of it unfolding a pattern that we can you know, nominate as being corrective or impulsive, because we'll need that impulsive wave to manage our entry and stop our risk reward at that particular point. So I won't go in there today and look at this. We have been counting it up, but I won't do that just yet. And then silver's a bit more complicated, as you can see here. This is a daily chart, but the bigger picture here. So it's really sort of come across here. But what we're sort of seeing here in a way is we're seeing, you know, the high here, the low here, the high here, the low here. So it is in a way moving into sort of a triangle sort of pattern here. So we've labeled that here as an ABC for the A wave, ABC for that B wave up here, and so on as we move in a little bit closer. Now the same thing with gold here, same thing with silver and gold, is that you can see how it's popped up here. Now I could count this here as the same thing here, the A wave here, then an A, B, C, D, and E here for the B wave here, and then down for the C wave, and as this C wave here, and call that low in play here. I could do that, and I could even get this to look like an impulse wave here as well, but I don't know that just yet, so I still need to just be a little bit careful and look at this as wave 1 here and 2 here and 3, 4 and 5, another little move down here. But we are close. It's just eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point in time. So I just want to give them a little bit more time to play out here. So because I really would like rather the dollar and gold and silver to line up in the right way. I can see that. You know, we may even come down a fair bit further, because, you know, I'd really like to bring the yields into it and the bond market into it as well. But that would mean that would even come further down here for this, and that's still a possibility as well, because we can look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, for, you know, so it's not that, you know, it's not difficult to do that. But we are working in lots of 3 in the bigger picture here, so we'll go with the triangle pattern. But we're not ready yet. We'll just give it in about 2 days, 2 sessions, we'll be able to understand this little impulse or corrective wave here. So anyway, interesting scenario coming up at that point. Then we come over to the base metals. The XME here is just a bit of a thing here, because, you know, as I mentioned before, this particular pattern coming across here all this time here is really, you know, a reflection of what's going on in China to a point, and we can see this sideways pattern in some of the big miners like BHP and so on. So one of the things that we've mentioned here is that also a bit of a triangle pattern happening here. We've got the high and the low and the high and the low, and then we're sort of diminished into this particular number. This is the balance line for this particular correction here, and you know, it's if it pushes up and makes new highs here, especially above this little high here, then it forces this to be a corrective pattern at this point. Now, I could view this here as an impulse wave. That's not a problem, and we still have time, because if it is an impulse wave, it's going to come up here and it's going to come back again like this, and then we can just grab this here and put it over to here and put it over to here. But more so importantly with this here is that it's a reflection of what would be happening in BHP and copper and a lot of other markets as well. So what I can say here, a little bit like gold and silver, it's kind of like, shit, are we making a move here, you know? So if that is the case, I don't, you know, I want to be ready for it, but at the same time, I don't want to be sucked into a corrective rally and look more of an idiot than I actually am. So I'll just chill, and we'll wait a couple of sessions, and then we'll have a look at this tomorrow and the next day to see if we have got an impulse wave up through here for this. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that out of the way, and I've said what we needed to say about this, because when we look at see, copper's got two patterns that I'm tracking. So this is one of them. This is just the United States Copper Index Fund here, but you know, it does sort of give a reasonable sort of view of the LME copper and so on. So we can look at it with an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave here, then 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and move on down here. And it's doing all the right things, you know, like as to move down here. And this is sort of one of the pathways I've had. Now, when I look at the US high grade copper, it's a little bit reluctant to go down. I can look at it as 1 and 2 here and so on. I'm just going to move these out of the way here for the moment, and we can look at that as 1 and 2 as well. But we've also been looking at it as also a triangle pattern too, with an A, B, C, D and E here, and having a low in place here. So we'll just see how it, you know, see what, because this is also a bit of a reflection of what's happening in the XME as well. So we'll just chill. There's nothing to do here just yet. We're just sort of looking at both sides of the coin and seeing what's sort of coming out of the gates at this point. But there's no trades, there's no nothing here. We're just looking at it as a possible turning point, but then we need to sort of gather evidence, you know. It's a little bit like the S&P 500. So we've got the S&P 500 here. We're talking about having wave 4 low in here, and we're trying to build a case here with 5 waves. Do we have the 5 waves up here yet? No, we don't. But it's looking like that is the case, and we can see that in some of the leading stocks like Meta, and so we sort of put Humpty Dumpty together a little bit in these sorts of things and see how we go with them. But we're certainly not there just yet. So I wouldn't say we're bearish or bullish at this just yet. We don't have any sort of solid evidence of anything just yet for this. So yeah, so that's that. So we're also talking about nickel yesterday as well, and in the bigger picture here, we've got, I'm on the daily chart here, just very simple A, B wave here, and then we can see this big nice sweeping C wave down here. We tend to sort of forget about these markets, but yesterday we had a bit of a count with a possible low in here, so I revisited it here on this particular chart here. I think we've still got one more little bump and then a drop here to go in all of this. So I just wanted to shine a bit of light on that situation. But anyway, we this would also sort of relate to some of the nickel stocks as well, with a bit further to go down, like IGO and stuff from Australia side anyway. But this is the point where people tune out of the markets, but this is where we need to tune into the market. So we'll, as I mentioned yesterday, we will be considering looking at this a little bit more often. And then we're looking at uranium here. So with uranium here in the bigger picture, we've got 5 waves up here going back into 2020 for wave 1 and wave 2 here. And then it looks like we've got this bullish run here with 1 and 2 over to here, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and we've been sort of building a case to the upside here for this, so we can put this wave 4 here. Wave 4 may end up coming over here with an ABC here and then coming back and hitting this, but in a nutshell, it's coming back, hitting the 25, the medium level here, and it should push up. So we've got here, I won't go to the intraday today, but 1 and 2 here, and then all the way up for wave 3 here with 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and then the 4 and then the 5 up here. So there's a long way to go in all of this, but yeah, we're in, these are all 1s and 2s in here, so these will be all 4s and 5s in here, so they'll be a little bit more laborious, so watching the paint dry, so to speak, but at least it's positive, and we can see that, you know, the indicators will be sort of shining a little bit. So this is Chinese iron ore here, and in a nutshell, like I was talking before, is that in the bigger picture for all of this here, it boils down to the point of this move up here being either wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then moving up into a positive move here, right? It's either that, or we need to look at this as an A and a B and a C wave over here for the E wave of B over here, and then we come down here further. So once again, we don't need to do anything here just yet. We just need to be a little bit patient. And if we have a look at let me just have a look at that on the Singapore exchange, and this is a weekly chart here, because this is a much nicer, more bullish pattern here, because we've got the A, the B and the C here. But in China, the Dalian exchange, it didn't make this low here over this one here. It's kept it up here somewhere. So here it makes a nice ABC with 1 and 2, and then I can look at this as 1 and 2, and then that 1 and 2 in here as well. So I need to, you know, the volume is fantastic, so everything is looking pretty good. Let me just go to a daily chart here. I don't know if that's any better, but yeah, so this kind of, so we can look at it as 1 and 2 here, and then this circled 1 and 2 coming into here. So over the next couple of sessions, we'll be sort of looking at this a little bit more. And yeah, so I think China's just had a week off, hasn't it? That week in here, I think. But this is Singapore anyway, but it's just, you know, all the rich people from China are piling over to Singapore. The new, not the new Switzerland, but been called that for many years now. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know the answer here, but the answer will reveal itself, and then this will make buying opportunities for Vale, Rio, FMG, yada yada yada, or not. So we've got to sort this issue out in here for this, you know. I mean, based on what we could see with the XME EFT, then this is more likely to be bullish. But for me, I need to get the evidence for that, and I don't have the evidence yet. You know, I can see that I could view this here as a little A wave to here, a little B wave to here, and a C wave to here with one more little low to go in play. But then I still need to get an impulse wave to the upside after that. Do you know what I mean? So we're not there just yet. Yeah, but just while we're here, I was just, because we've kept a bit of an eye on coffee actually. So with coffee here, you can see that we've got a nice ABC pattern down here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we'll just keep a little bit of an eye on this. I have mentioned it before, and we may have landed here, and we can see a bit of a volume came in last night, in the last session rather. So we'll just see if we can get a little impulse wave out of that there. So we may have a buy in the coffee section as well. And yeah, so I'll leave that there. So that's, I don't need to go into intraday here. So let me come over to the energy section. In the energy section here, I've got mixed signals in the crude market. Now, I don't think that the Saudis have unloaded any more supply to the market, so I just sort of see all this being quite sort of technical, and obviously the unfortunate event of it's happening in Israel, which is and Palestine was not really happening. Well, it's all over. It's just so sad, really. I mean, it's just when women and children get involved in things, it's, you know, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Because it's like the people that always suffer, not the politicians or the other folks, you know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. It's like, but I didn't get very much sleep last night over that. I'm getting mixed signals. So the XLE here, we looked at this being the A, the B, and the C, because crude topped in here for this, and but we didn't get that top here for this, you know. So we had to look at this as an ABC here for this. You know, we felt this was the low here based on little 5 waves here, and we've got a bit of an impulse wave. This will be an impulse wave here, so I can just remove that, and you can see where the what's the names are here. So this will be some sort of little 1 and 2 coming into here. I don't think that wave 1's just finished yet, and then wave 3 normally comes up around here somewhere, and yada yada yada, be something like this for this. So that brings us over to so that's that. Let me just have a look at, that's crude. That's okay, I'll just come back to that in a moment. Yeah, so this move down here is an ABC for XLE here. This will play out here for Exxon Mobil here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So this, I'll just check on this. So far here we've got 1, I don't know if you can see that, but 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we'll see if we get wave 5 here, and then we'll look for an ABC pattern here, and then we'll see if we can get that move up there. But that's sort of how that should play out here. But on crude oil, it's a little bit, this little pattern here plays out a little bit differently here. So over on crude here, we'd counted 5 waves down here, and we're looking for an A and a B and a C here, slightly different thing. But we could actually look at this as 1 and 2 in here, and 3, 4, 5 here. So it's quite possible that we could put wave 1 over here and wave 2 here. I know this is a little bit confusing, but we'll just wait and see, because what will happen if this moves up here and it moves back, and gives us an ABC coming back here and then moves up, well then we'll be long over here. So I've got 3 different energy markets giving me 3 different sorts of patterns here. So I'm just not quite into tune with this, but yeah, it'll come. It's just not, the penny just hasn't dropped for me just yet with this. But otherwise, we'll come down for we can look at this as wave 1 or wave A here, then an A and a B and a C wave down here for 2 or B, and then moving up at that point. Or we just move straight up from here, and this is why we'll need to go long over here for this. So nothing to do here. I mean, sure, if you get a classic trading levels pattern like we mentioned yesterday, to go long above the highs here, so you could do this time around. It doesn't give me a nice little 5 waves here for this actually. So oh yeah, I can see it now. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's probably the low in here, but you just want a little classic trading levels pattern up there to like this here. We're coming up to this level now, so you want this, 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 and this, and over here. So no need to ever rush into these things, you know, just find the price point that you're working with. And in this case, it's the 85, the number 5, and you've got the arrival, the reaction. So you want the first high above the level. In this instance here, you want that to push up here. It'll come back and check it, you know, and it'll leave you that one there. There'll be another little second high here that you can go on. This is basically safer trading, because the market is proving to you it's strong by taking out a new high. Sure, you can get a better price, but that comes with risk as well, of course, and that's fine. Doesn't matter what you do, as long as you know what you're doing. So that's crude at this point, and just leave that there. And I was going to put that over here, so we'll look for that trade on Exxon if it comes into play. And then we come over to natural gas. So with natural gas, we can look at this here from the top. We can look at it as an A and a B and a C wave down here. And we could also look at the wave C here, right, as a larger wave A here. And that means we'd go up for a larger B wave up here and then a larger C wave here. We could also look at it as an ABC and even go further up here. We could also look at it as 1 and 2 here, and 3 down here, and then 4 over here like we're looking at. with wave 4 over here. So that's also possible as well. So we could look at this being down here. We're currently at that's a 23, this is the 38 here. So this area here would be the wave 4 of the 38.2% retracement level area here, just in here. So that's why I've got wave 4 there, wave 5 C of 4. And in that case, we can look at this as an A, B, C for the A wave, and A, B, C for the B wave, and then 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 here, and then going up for wave 3, 4, and 5 here. And then in the third wave here, we've got 1 and 2. We're going up for the third, fourth, and fifth, and we'll go in and have a closer look at that. So there's a few things that can play out here, but really the target would be the $4 mark there. And even once we arrive here, this will be the arrival, this will be the reaction, this will be the first high above the level, and then we'll see an ABC pattern here. So at the $4 here, we will see this particular pattern. We'll see the arrival. This is where you need to get out. We could trade this up here if we wanted to, then we'll get this. And if it's going to go up further, this is where we're going to go over here and in here to build in through here if we get impulse waves in through there. So that's our plan. We're currently long in this at the moment. So I'm aware of most of the counts. And once again, you can clearly see that, from this particular low here, that this is the building process of 1s and 2s in here. And then this is this is the third wave. So this is the beginning. This is the middle, in the middle here. And then this is going to be the end over here. So the end is going to be time consuming and so on and so on. So you'll have to watch out for futures contract rollovers, or if you're with CFDs or options and all those sorts of things, then you're going to have overnight financing, and they will cost you in terms of time. So what? I'll just go from 50k ticks into 1,000 ticks, and just to get your bearings here a little bit here. So this is the wave B here. We've had this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and we're going up for wave 3. So from wave 2 here, we're going up to wave 3 here with 5 waves in there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. For the third wave, so blue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. This is where we really want to be talking and taking money off the table. And these wave 4s will get bigger and bigger as we go through here. They'll take more time. Wave 2s were simple and sharp. These will be sideways and complex. So that will be that. And like I said, if we're going to go long again after all of this, once we get up here for this, if it's going to go further than all of this, this could just be a whole A wave up here. Do you know what I mean? So we'll need to get the setup across over here. But just to drill into this little section here a little bit further, we've been working on the 100 ticks, and this is it here. So I'll just get in a bit more stuff here. So if we pick it up from this wave 1 and 2, then we're going up to blue 1, blue 2, and then blue 3 up here. And then we're going to have blue 4, and then this will be over here, and this will be over here somewhere. And then there'll be a wave 5. I mean, you don't have to get out here and all the rest of it, but you'll be dragged through this wave 4 here, which will be a little bit time consuming through this. So the platform is just resetting. It must be 10 to 9 daylight savings. Yeah, so I can't move it at the moment. But yesterday when we spoke, we were looking for, we had wave 3 in here, and we're looking for an ABC for wave 4. Okay, we've got it. So you may have clicked in here, I don't know. Yeah, but we can bring that down into here now, so that will make you happy. So the A wave, an AB, I don't even know what that is. I have to check on that, but that's that. See, but basically we're getting support on the 5 here. That's the trick, and we're taking that top out. So you may have gotten in here and here, and if you've gotten in here, then you really want to be having this stop. We can bring the stop up, but I don't want to bring the stop up I can bring it up to here. But if you've taken this as a brand new trade, then you'll need to keep the stop here. You could get away with it being here, but if you've got all these other positions in here, we're going to stay here. We're going to keep out of the way. We can see that the market's sticking to number 5. 5 is the second strongest number, so everything's going according to plan. This is probably wave 1 and 2 in here. I don't know how we'll end up definitely taking the top out over here, and we're entering group 2 here. So if you wanted to take money off the table, then anywhere in group 2 is good to do that. And then there'll be wave 4 here. This wave 4 can pull back to this wave 4. So if this is your only trade in the market, you do need to get out at 3,650. And then get back in over here, and we'll try to get back in over here. So this can pull back to this one, but normally they'll be up a little bit here. And it'll just depend if this is going to, if group 2 here, 65, 72 and 80 is going to reject the market and send it back down at this point. Otherwise it could end up being up here, and then wave 4 will play out inside of group 2 and then be pulled up into 4 here. So there's a fair way to go with all of this, looking good. But that's the trade of the day, really. So I'll leave it all at that. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.